The First Barbary War, fought between 1801 and 1805, stands as a pivotal moment in early American history. This conflict marked the United States' first significant military engagement beyond its shores and set the stage for its emergence as a global naval power. The war was fought against the Barbary states of North Africa, Tripoli, Algiers, Tunis, and the independent Sultanate of Morocco. These states demanded tribute from maritime nations to allow safe passage through the Mediterranean Sea. Refusing to bow to such demands, the young United States sought to assert its sovereignty and protect its commercial interests. The Barbary states had long maintained a stranglehold over Mediterranean trade. Through their use of corsairs or state-sponsored pirates, they extorted money from European powers and captured ships, often enslaving their crews. This system of tribute ensured relative safety for those who paid, but came at great economic cost. For the newly independent United States, the financial burden of such payments was untenable. In the 1790s, the U.S. had reluctantly paid tribute to ensure safe trade. However, American ships remained vulnerable to attack, leading to a growing sense of frustration. By 1801, with President Thomas Jefferson at the helm, the tide of American policy shifted. Jefferson, a staunch advocate of free trade and American independence, believed in confronting piracy directly rather than submitting to extortion. He argued that paying tribute only encouraged further demands and perpetuated the cycle of violence and exploitation. The war began when the Pasha of Tripoli, Yusuf Karamanli, demanded increased tribute from the United States. When Jefferson refused, Karamanli declared war by symbolically cutting down the flagpole outside the U.S. consulate in Tripoli. This act spurred Jefferson to act decisively. Despite his earlier skepticism about maintaining a standing navy, Jefferson dispatched a squadron of ships under Commodore Richard Dale to the Mediterranean. This marked the first deployment of the U.S. Navy to protect national interests abroad. Jefferson's decision to rely on naval power demonstrated his belief in the strength of the American military. It also highlighted a critical turning point in the nation's approach to foreign policy, a willingness to engage militarily to defend its sovereignty and economic interests. By 1801, with President Thomas Jefferson at the helm, the tide of American policy shifted. Jefferson, a staunch advocate of free trade and American independence, believed in confronting piracy directly rather than submitting to extortion. He argued that paying tribute only encouraged further demands and perpetuated the cycle of violence and exploitation. The U.S. Navy's initial foray into the Mediterranean was met with mixed results. Commodore Dale's squadron successfully blockaded Tripoli, but lacked the resources to enforce a decisive victory. The following year, Commodore Richard Morris replaced Dale, but his indecisive leadership led to limited progress. Frustration grew among U.S. policymakers, and the need for more decisive action became evident. It wasn't until Commodore Edward Preble assumed command in 1803 that the tide began to turn. Preble's aggressive tactics and strategic vision revitalized the campaign. Under his leadership, the U.S. Navy adopted a more offensive approach, targeting Tripolitan harbors and fortifications. Preble also worked closely with allied nations, seeking to build coalitions to counter the Barbary threat. This collaborative approach showcased the early stages of American diplomacy on the international stage. One of the war's most dramatic episodes unfolded in October 1803, when the USS Philadelphia, commanded by Captain William Bainbridge, ran aground near Tripoli. The ship was captured by Tripolitan forces, and its crew was taken hostage. This humiliating loss posed a significant challenge to American morale and strategy. However, it also led to one of the most daring missions of the war. In February 1704, Lieutenant Stephen Decatur led a small contingent of sailors aboard the captured Philadelphia and set it ablaze, denying its use to the enemy. Decatur's mission, conducted under the cover of darkness, required precision and courage. British Admiral Lord Nelson reportedly described Decatur's feat as the most bold and daring act of the age. This mission not only boosted American morale, but also demonstrated the skill and determination of the fledgling U.S. Navy. While naval engagement dominated much of the war, a critical land campaign emerged as a turning point. In 1705, William Eaton, a former U.S. Army officer, devised a plan to overthrow Pasha Yusuf Karamanli and replace him with his exiled brother, Hamet Karamanli. Eaton's plan was ambitious and required significant logistical support. With approval from the U.S. government, he assembled a small force consisting of U.S. Marines, Greek, and Arab mercenaries, and Hamet's supporters. Eaton led his diverse force on a grueling 500-mile march across the Libyan desert to attack the city of Derna. The journey tested the endurance and resolve of the troops, who faced harsh conditions and limited supplies. Despite these challenges, Eaton's forces achieved a stunning victory at the Battle of Derna. The city's capture marked the first time the U.S. flag was raised in victory on foreign soil. This success demonstrated the effectiveness of combined land and naval operations. It also highlighted the importance of cooperation between American forces and local allies. Eaton's campaign became a symbol of American ingenuity and determination in the face of adversity. The triumph at Derna placed significant pressure on Yusuf Karamanli to negotiate. On June 10, 1805, a treaty was signed, bringing the First Barbary War to an end. The treaty secured the release of American prisoners and promised an end to further tribute payments. While the agreement did not eliminate piracy in the region, it represented a significant step towards securing American commercial interests and asserting the nation's independence on the global stage. The treaty's terms reflected the limitations of American power at the time. Although the U.S. achieved key objectives, it remained clear that the Barbary States' piracy threat would persist. Nonetheless, the war's resolution marked an important milestone in American diplomatic and military history. The First Barbary War had far-reaching consequences for the United States. It underscored the importance of a strong navy in protecting national interests and laid the groundwork for future American military engagements abroad. The conflict also instilled a sense of national pride and unity as citizens rallied around the success of their fledgling navy. The war's legacy is immortalized in the Marine Corps' hymn, which references the shores of Tripoli. This phrase serves as a reminder of the bravery and determination displayed by those who fought in the Barbary Wars. Additionally, the war provided valuable lessons in strategy and diplomacy. The U.S. recognized the importance of maintaining a capable naval force and engaging with international partners to address common threats. These lessons would shape American foreign policy in the years to come. The First Barbary War was a defining moment in the early history of the United States. It showcased the nation's resolve to protect its sovereignty and commercial interests against formidable odds. Through the courage of its sailors, marines, and diplomats, the United States emerged from the conflict with a newfound confidence and a strengthened reputation on the world stage. This war not only solidified the young nation's identity, but also set a precedent for its future as a global power. By confronting piracy and defending its principles, the United States demonstrated its commitment to freedom and justice, leaving a lasting legacy that continues to inspire. If you love this story, don't miss the next chapter. Dive into epic pirate tales and thrilling adventures. Want to watch Barbary War 2? Then subscribe to Black Flag Tales now. Hit that subscribe button and join us for more daring exploits on the high seas. Adventure awaits. Don't miss out.